We knew when we took that trip, we knew, all right, we're moving back to Florida. Like, this is just us. It's just us. But what I didn't think about on that trip was whether or not I was going to go back to the school or not. Like, I completely forgot. Like, my mind was just, I was just having a good time, and I was just focused on just life and living and enjoying life. And I forgot about going back to the school. So I get back to Texas again. I'm in a good mood. Like, I'm feeling good. I'm riding this high. I get back to Texas, I get back to Houston, and I get an email on my phone, pops up, I look at it, and it's from the school. And it was just an email that they send out to like all teachers. It wasn't anything specific to me. It wasn't anything negative. It was just an email. And I saw the school name pop up, and I saw, the email was from the school. And I was like, oh my God, like, I have to go back there. Like, oh my God, I have to decide if I'm going to go back there. Like, what is my next move? Oh my God. And I just started thinking about all the negatives from that previous year at the school. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, I just went into a deep state of depression all over again. Just from seeing an email about the school and me thinking about going back to the school. And that let me know right then and there, like, I knew that it wasn't for me. I knew that I had to let this go. Because the mere fact of me getting an email and thinking about going back sent me into depression. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. So I'm like out of it. Like, I'm really out of it, putting on weight. I'm eating everything in sight. I'm stressed out. I'm depressed. And so I started going to the gym every day. I started going to the gym twice a day because I noticed that helped me. I started feeling good, working out, getting in the steam room, doing all of these different things. And that helped me feel good, and it helped me feel better. That was my way of coping and dealing with it. And I started eating better. When I started eating better, I'm like, oh, okay, this feels better. And I even got, like, it was in my mind because it was so close for me to go back to school. The school year was like rapidly approaching. I'm thinking like, you know what? I can do this for another year. I can just do it for another. I can suck it up and I can make it through another year. And that's kind of where my mindset was. I can make it happen. So I go to the gym one day, and it's my second time going to the gym. And I take my son with me, and he asked me, he's like, Dad, why don't you never play basketball when we come? And I'm like, man, I'm not about to go out there and get hurt messing with those scrubs. And he's like, man, just go out there and play. Just go play. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to go play. I'm going to show you how you can dominate the game without trying to score a bunch of points. Like, that was my mindset. And so I go out there, and like on the second play, I get ready to jump for a rebound and pop. I did a video on that as well. I'll put that in the description, describing and explaining how I popped my Achilles. But pop my Achilles. Like I said, I've done a bunch of videos on that. Please check them out. But yeah, so I popped my Achilles, tear my Achilles, or rupture my Achilles, the technical term for it. And I'm just like, wow. Is this really where we're at right now? Like, is this really happening? With everything else going on, is this really happening? And so to kind of speed this story up, I get surgery on my Achilles. The recovery process was rough. It was rough. I had setbacks, all kind of weird stuff going on. And I was at a point in my life where, in the recovery process, where I couldn't even sit up. I had to lay on my back most of the day because when I sit up straight like I'm sitting now, it felt like all the blood in my body was rushing to my foot, and it just felt like it was going to explode. So I had to lay back most of the day with my foot propped up. And so I'm laying on my back, and I'm just staring at the ceiling. And I'm like, am I ever going to walk again? Like, I'm like, am I ever going to walk again? Like, and if I do walk again, I realize now that at the snap of a finger, life can just change. Life is short and it could change at any moment. And it made me like that process where I couldn't do anything. My wife was like waiting on me hand and foot. And I'm like, golly, this feels so bad not being able to do anything for myself. And realizing that we don't have as much control in life as we think we do. And I started just thinking about everything, and it just having that time to sit down, it grew my relationship closer with God, because all I could really do was just pray. Just pray, God, please help me. Please show me. Please talk to me. Please enlighten me. Like, what's next in life? Like, what do I need to do? Like, why am I in this state? Why did this happen to me? How can I make this better? And, through praying and just talking to God, I realized that when I got back on my feet, that I knew that God was going to bring me through this. And once God brought me through this, I knew that he can bring me through anything. And I knew that I had to learn to trust him and not try to be Superman or try to be Ultimate Warrior, whatever you want to call it. But I had to put my faith and trust in God. And I did that. And I'm just receptive every day. God, talk to me, show me, give me signs. What do I need to do? And I kept getting sign after sign after sign, that I needed to leave the school, that it was just for a season. It was just for a season. It wasn't meant to be forever, but I needed to leave the school. But the old saying, the spirit and the flesh, they battle with each other, they wrestle with each other. And so my spiritual mind is saying, you need to leave. But my flesh is saying, you just moved here like last year. Think about those students. Now they're going to have to deal. I forgot to mention that the teacher that I took over had been in that school for 10 plus years and they loved him. These students are going to be let down again. I'm thinking about the program. Who's going to take it over? Is it going to continue to flourish or is it going to go downhill? I'm thinking about just everything except for myself. I'm thinking about all of those different things, but it's like crystal clear. Like, imagine God shouting in your ear, leave the school only for a season. This is not it. And through that process, to try to speed this up, I feel like I said I'm trying to speed this up a bunch of times. Through this process, I realized crystal clear that we were going to move back to Florida. That this was just for a season. I learned a lot here. There was a reason for me coming here, right? But we need to go back to Florida. I need to leave the job. And honestly, I felt that I didn't even need to go. I was out for a long time. I'm talking about months. But I felt like I didn't need to go back. But I'm hard-headed. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to make it to the end of the year. And then I'm going to be done with it. And then the summer, we're going back to Florida. That was my plan. Again, I just told you, trust God, believe in God, all that kind of stuff. But I'm still like, no, I'm going to finish this school year. So the closer it got time for me to go back to school, the more stressed out I began to get. And I told myself, this ain't looking good. And so I go back to school after I get good enough to go. And my first day back was a nightmare. Like, it was I just knew I wasn't supposed to be there. And at the end of the day, I sat in my car after work. I got off. I sat in my car and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not healthy. This is not healthy. And so I called people that I trust. I called my old pastor back in North Carolina. I called my mom. I called my dad. I spoke with several people about this and everyone was like, you got to go. Only I was like, no, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. And so I remember when I was laying on my back and looking up at the ceiling, and I had to snap back into that mode. And I'm like, God, I need some signs. I need some signs because I don't feel like I can go on like this. And oh my God, because this video isn't playing, I just put the camera on and hit record. I can't remember those exact signs, but I do remember getting like 3 or 4 signs in one day that were crystal clear, like just go ahead and leave. And I got that sign and I started crying. And I broke down and I started crying, and I knew that was it. And so I told my wife, and she was like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she was like, "All right, let's do it." She was like, "Don't be beating around the bush. Let's just do it. We're gonna do it. Let's do it." And I went back and I told my students, before I told administration, I told my students, I was like, "This is what it is. I have to leave. This is why." And they weren't too shocked because they knew everything I had been dealing with, and they knew how stressful it was for me. But they were a little disappointed, or a lot disappointed that I was leaving. But they understood why. And after I told them, I told my mentor at the school, and he was very supportive. Shouts out to him. And then I told administration. And the principal wasn't very supportive at all. She was kind of upset, to be quite frank with you. And she was like, it gets better, year 3, year 4, whatever, it gets better. But every teacher that I talked to told me that it doesn't get better. And it only gets worse from what I hear. But even if it did get better, that wasn't the point. My point is I have a calling on my life, and it was made clear to me what I needed to be doing, where I needed to be at, and the life that I wanted to live, or the life that I'm supposed to live. And so that was it. That was more important. And so I wasn't even upset at her, because I expect that. Like, it's a job. Like, there's a protocol. There's a way things are supposed to be done. And I'm leaving school. I'm leaving the job. Like, they invested a lot in me. And so I wasn't surprised at her reaction. I wasn't mad at her reaction. I'm still not mad at her reaction. There are a lot of reasons why I could be mad at the principal or other people at administration at that school, but I'm not at all. Like I said, I know what I had to do for myself and my family. I know what's best for myself and my family, and that's the direction I had to go. And I actually sent her an email, like, just thanking her for the opportunity. And I sent her a text message thanking her for the opportunity. I never heard anything back. But like, when you know that you have a calling on your life, and you know the direction that you're supposed to move, it's going to ruffle feathers. Like, it's not everyone else's calling. Like, the principal wasn't on her back. You see what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't in the pain that I was in. God didn't come down, or he didn't talk to her. He didn't give her signs that he gave me. All she's thinking about is what's best for her school, her job, or whatever else the case may be. And I understand that, and I have no hard feelings. But for you, when you decide to make change in your life, just know that there's going to be people that are upset, and only going to think about how it affects them, and not think about your personal and mental and physical well-being. But decided to leave. And I said I would give them, I think it was November something when I told them. And I said I'll give them to the end of the semester to try to find someone else. And so that ended up being December 17th. So December 17th was my last day. So I wouldn't return when they came back from after that winter break. That's my story. That's how this injury kind of, changed my life, because it forced me to sit down. It forced me to reflect on life, to look at life. It forced me to depend and trust in God, and listen to God and his message and what he has to say. And so, that's where I'm at with it now. And the vision that I saw that was clear for me, crystal clear is that I have 4 kids now, 2 twin girls, a boy and a girl, 11-year-old and a 5-year-old girl, and 11-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. And both of us are very entrepreneurial. We like, I feel like there's so much to the story that I left out, but I've already been talking for a really long time, and I feel like people may not even care at this point. But that's just something that has been tugging at my heart a long time. And we want to live a life where we can travel the world with our kids. Like, the time that you have with your loved ones is limited. And I don't want to be stuck at a 9-to-5 where I'm hating life, I'm regretting life, and I'm not with my kids, not with my wife, not being able to spend time. I come home, I'm exhausted, and keep repeating that same cycle over and over and over again. We want to be able to live a flexible life where we can pick up and go where we want, when we want. We want to experience the world. We want to show our kids everything. So when we do turn them loose, they have seen, so much, and they want to continue to be adventurous themselves. Travel and flexibility, and ability to build something, create something to change and impact lives. That's where I'm at. And so for those of you that have been with this channel for a while, since day one, you know that my whole thing was Destroying Doubt. I started the Destroying Doubt podcast back in like 2016, 2017. And so Destroying Doubt, that's what this whole process was for me, destroying doubt and overcoming my fears and my self-doubt in order to fulfill my purpose in life. And that's what I plan to continue to do. So now I've started Destroying Doubt Media, and I will be linking that in the description below. So make sure you check out that other channel. So the other channel and what Destroying Doubt Media is about is pretty much just helping entrepreneurs and faith-based entities, inspirational speakers, helping them create content to help them grow. And specifically right now, podcast content. And so on that channel, I'll be talking about things revolving around podcasting and how to build your podcast and how to market it and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I'll be doing on that channel. Again, check it out. The description is, the link will be in the description below. And I hope that you subscribe to that channel as well. But that's what I plan to do. And I also plan to get back into TV or radio, but on like more of a freelance part-time kind of thing. That's something else that was hard while I was down on my back, like thinking about if I wanted to go back into the TV world or not. But it's something that's so demanding, and working weekends and holidays or whatever. And again, with the twins and my family, we just want to be able to be free and just travel the world and enjoy life on our terms, and building something that we believe in. And so that's where I'm at. And so I guess I'll close by saying, if you're out there, and you feel a calling on your life, and you want to do something else, don't be afraid to take a chance. This is actually my second time doing this. The first time I did it was in the military. I will put that video in the description below as well. Check out all my videos. Just go check out my channels. Check out my videos. But the way I left the military was very non-traditional. And I left before the end of my contract. And so what happens is we kind of weigh the past into our current situation, and we start to doubt ourselves. And I was like, among all the other things that I told you in this video, of why I was doubting myself, another big thing for me it was like, okay, you left the military early. Now you're trying to leave the school early. Maybe it's something with you. Maybe you can't handle stress. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I just start thinking like all of these crazy things, and we start to tell ourselves these crazy things instead of just looking at a situation like, what do you want to do in life? Is this best for you? How is this affecting you? Are there more positives or negatives? And you do the math and you weigh the scales. And if it weighs this way, if it weighs that way, that's the direction you need to go. Sometimes it's just that simple. And we try to overanalyze things and we try to get so deep and philosophical when at the end of the day, is this what you want to do? Is this what's best for you? And that's where I'm at with it. And I decided to let it go. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I decided to let it go so I can sit here and I can make this video. And I know for a fact, because I'm going to be real, like the whole sharing your life information stuff is not really my thing. I don't really like people up in my business. And I didn't make a video in 2 or 3 weeks, and I was kind of battling back and forth, but I knew that I had to make this video because I know that me going through the situation and me sharing it, I know that someone on the other side of this camera is going to let go of something that's bringing them down. They're going to let go of something that is burdening them. This is the message that I needed to hear. When I was down on my back and when I was going back to the school and I was going through this process, I was looking for content of people that were dealing with the same thing as me. I was looking like teacher quit job after, I was looking for it. And the stuff that I found helped me. It helped me to know that I'm not the only person out there going through these things. And so I'm sharing this with you all. And again, I hope that someone on the other side of this camera can see this and take something from it and apply it to their life and realize that it's not the end of the world. Like we tell ourselves like all of these horror stories, like I don't know why. And I have other income coming in. I have other streams of income coming in, like where this isn't even like a big jump for me at all. Like we're good. My family and I are good. But we tell ourselves things like we're going to be homeless on the street, living under a bridge or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But I don't know why we doubt ourselves so freaking much. But I want to be that voice on the internet, on YouTube, wherever it may be, I want to be that voice to say that it's going to be okay. Don't doubt yourself. If God is talking to you, listen to him. If life or that nagging thing in your ear is telling you that it's time to do something different, listen to it. Because I truly feel like the world is a better place when people are not going through the motions. Like there's teachers at that same school that I just left that have been there for over a decade and that are just zombies at this point. And they're just waiting to get to their retirement. And I personally don't feel like that's doing them any good. That's not doing the students any good. It's not doing anyone any good. Now, that's not to say that we don't need teachers. Of course, we need teachers. God bless teachers. One thing that I've learned throughout this whole process is that teachers are amazing and they are a much better person than I am because that's a lot to deal with. And so, but that goes to my point. We need people out there. Someone out there right now is, I don't know, I'm just going to say working in a warehouse because that's where I come from, like way in the past, that wants to be a teacher, but is scared to leave that warehouse. There's someone that may be working in TV. Again, that's somewhere else that I come from, that wants to be a teacher, but they built this esteem for themselves. They got a blue check beside their name. They have all these followers, and being a teacher is less glamorous, but that's truly where their heart is. That's truly where their calling is. You see what I'm saying? Like we all have different avenues, different roads in life, but it does no one no good when we're going the opposite way because we're scared. It doesn't do anyone any good. And so that's why I made this video, and it's like 100 hours long. I'm sorry. I don't even know how I'm going to edit this. I can't put out like a 30, 40 minute video. Like no one's going to watch it. And I really want people to watch this. I may have to break this down into multiple parts or anything. But like I said at the beginning, it's now 12:15 and I think it was like 11:34 when I first started. But I'm going to try to put this out with very minimal editing, next to no editing. And so that just straight from the heart, just talking, no plan, just put it out. And I thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more inspirational things, messages, life hacks, all that good stuff. Give this video a like if you got something from it. And thank you so much for watching. This is my story, and I hope that it helps you. Thank you so very much.